My name is Chef Swole, and we are on a mission to beat Elden Ring from start to finish using all 411 unique weapons in the game. In these playthroughs and in these videos, we will be going over the breakdown for how to use this weapon to become the Elden Lord. And every single time we'll be breaking down the optimal starting class for the weapon, what stats should you focus on when upgrading this weapon, and in what order. Are there any soft caps, hard caps that you should worry about when leveling those stats? Are you going to need 15 endurance to use this build, 20, 30, etc.? After that, we're going to go through the overall build, break down the talismans, any armor, any buffs that we might have applied through the run. And finally, we'll be going into how that weapon performed using footage from the run, showing tips for each 14 required bosses that it will take to conquer the lands between. When all that is done, we will go into a tier list where we will tier each weapon from S tier all the way down to broken straight sword tier, based off of how that weapon will help you complete the game. Today's weapon is the Scorpion Stinger, and it was requested by the Panda Man over on Twitch. So without further ado, let's find out what the optimal starting class is for the Scorpion Stinger. The best starting class when using these Scorpion Stingers is actually going to be the Samurai. Now, a lot of people might immediately think the Warrior class might be better because the Warrior class brings us starting with 16 dexterity, while the Samurai only brings us with 15. However, the Scorpion Stinger does not just scale with dexterity, it scales with dexterity and strength. The Warrior class only has 10 strength, while the Samurai class has 12. So even though we start with one less dexterity with the Samurai than we would if starting with the Warrior, because of how the weapon scaling works, the Samurai ends up being the superior choice. So the Samurai class does bring us in with the starting weapons and stats as following. You see on the screen the weapons, which will obviously replace with the Scorpion Stingers and New Game Plus. And for the stats, we have rune level 9 with 12 in vigor, 11 in mind, 13 in endurance, 12 in strength, 15 dexterity, 9 intelligence, 8 in faith, and 8 in arcanine. So the order of operations that you want to use here when leveling is, first things first, you want to get that vigor up to around 30 for just base survivability and the beginning kind of slash mid game, right? The next one that you want to focus on is your endurance, because if you're spamming these light attacks and you're not able to recover, you can get in a situation where you don't have enough endurance to dodge an attack because you just chain 4 or 5 light attacks. So get your endurance at least up a couple levels to 15 if you're armorless. And if you are going to run armor, light armor, medium armor, try to get it closer to 20 for that. Now, the next on the agenda will be for our main damaging scaling. Bring that dexterity up from 15 to about 30 because it's going to help you with your damage output. And next, bring your strength up from 12 to 20. 20 is that soft cap for strength, whereas as long as you hit that, you're not going to be doing a lot more damage with the weaker scaling from strength compared to dexterity. But if you do get it to 20, it's going to help, a great amount. From there, you want to go ahead and get that late game survivability up. So increase your vigor that you started at getting to 30 all the way up to 50. And finally, with all of that done, any remaining points is going to go towards getting that dexterity higher, getting that damage higher from 30 to as much as you can get it for the lands between. With that being said, and now that we know what the build is, what the breakdown is, and how we should level it up, let's go into the build with the Scorpion Stinger. Since the Scorpion Stinger is a late game weapon, you find it over in the Lake of Rot. We're going to assume that if you're going to do a full playthrough using the Scorpion Stinger, that you'll be in New Game Plus. You'll have access to all weapons, talismans, or Psychic Flask tiers. The build that we're about to show you is going to help you get you all 14 required bosses the easiest. Now, what's unique about the Scorpion Stinger is it is one of the few weapons in the entire game that can apply the status of Rot. So check it out here. We have 50 Scarlet Rot buildup on this weapon, as you can see. So we're going to focus on using a build that's going to help us apply what is unique to this weapon, the ability to proc the Rot status. Additionally, because the weapon type is a dagger, it has an extremely fast dual moveset. So besides just proccing our Rot status, we also want to focus on a build that lets us get more damage off the more consecutive hits that we will do. So for the weapons, we ended up adding the Mushroom Crown, because what this does is every time Rot or Poison gets procced, your attack will be buffed for 10% when you're wearing this armor. This is going to stack with the talisman that we have on the third one from the left. And you see right here, it is the Kindred Rot Spirit. This will increase our attack an additional 20% whenever there is rot. So because this weapon is a dagger, because we have one of this weapon in each hand, and because of the dagger's light attack moveset, with daggers, how fast it is, rot is going to be getting applied a lot, meaning more times than not, we're going to have the 30% attack buff activated. Next up, we have the Rotten Wings Insignia and Millicent's Prostate, and additionally, the Thorny Cracked Tear. The three of those go together to help anytime you get a consecutive hit, a damage buff. With all three of them combined, we're going to be looking at a 35% damage buff in addition to our 30% from the rot. Lastly, we did equip the Dragon Crest Great Shield because most enemies in this game do physical attacks, and this is going to help negate some of that. So the setup for this is pretty easy. We're just going to pop our flask and start wailing those light attacks. So this is how it looks in action with this build. Gonna go ahead, you're gonna drink your flask, and then you're gonna go to an enemy and you just start spamming these attacks. So you see right here, even with him rolling around, as long as you keep spamming those attacks, it's gonna keep getting higher and higher and higher. We weren't able to proc the rot there, but we didn't even matter because we ended up with so much consecutive attacks, he was over. So this can be a highly effective build, as we can see there. And let's go into the effectiveness of this build, of this weapon, with the first boss of the game, Margit. So this is all about testing out the build here, and we're able to see really how much damage this build stacks up once you start really pounding in those consecutive hits. Now, with feeling this fight out, I was able to see, hey, we definitely don't have the stagger, don't have the proc that we have with some of the other weapons. So these consecutive hits, we're going to have to focus on the open windows, getting in and out, such as when he does this attack, we're able to get in a couple hits here and then dodge after that, dodge to the sword, dodge here, and now we just need one more open window because we do have the buff from the Kindred Rock Spirit and Mushroom Crown up. We see he's within one hit, so we're able to finish him off with a jump attack. So overall, Morgott's not too difficult of a fight at all. As soon as that rock prodded, the damage started going through the roof. So it was really overall an easy fight with the Scorpion Stinger. Difficulty on a scale of 1 to 10. It's only a 1 on 10 here. Harder ones to come. Let's get into Godrick and the next boss. So Godrick's going to be another one, right? Just like Morgott, early game boss here. Definitely not going to be too challenging. You see we're able to jump right into him, start spamming those light attacks, and that's really when the weapon shines. So even though we have to beat a hasty retreat there with the wind, we're really able to lock back in on him, punish him with these hits, and you see even though I missed a couple, we're getting used to the shorter range of these weapons. But here you see the 1, 2, 3, and now that buff goes off. 30% damage boost as of right now with the Mushroom Crown and with the Kindred of Rot Spirit. So we're able to come in, start popping off some damage here. And even though he does get the slam off, we're able to roll through it. Barely missed the second one, but you know what? We're able to close the distance again. His rot is ticking down because he is effective with Scarlet Rot, and you see the buff get procced there again. So we're going to let the stamina heal back up, get in some consecutive hits, and because our consecutive hits are really built up, now when phase 2 starts, we can really charge him down, roll through it, and then starts wailing on him with those dual light attacks. And you just see between the rot, between the consecutive attacks, he does get off one attack, but his health is just melting down. The rot is ticking away. And at this point, we can tell that the fight's going to be over no matter what due to the rot. So you know what? We won't even finish him off. We'll let the rot do the trick and start an early trick over to the Red Wolf as Godrick is succumbed by the Scarlet Rots. So right when we enter the arena here, we see the Red Wolf turn around, and it's all about baiting out some safe windows, dodge through it, and then start spamming those chain attacks. And you see just with 2 clicks of the button, he's already at 1/3 health. Another jump attack brings him just above half, and then a third brings him to half. 1, 2, 3 hits go way down due to the buildup of the consecutive attack talisman damage. So even though he's going to throw a couple magic attacks off on us, he's right in front of us here for us to finish him off with these quick attacks. The Red Wolf, very easy overall. Not quite as easy as Godrick, not quite as easy as Morgott, but about an average difficulty for the Red Wolf. He was mobile enough to where we did have to dodge about 7 or 8 attacks, and with worse RNG, it could have been a lot worse. So for that reason, the difficulty against the Red Wolf is going to be about an average difficulty, about a 5 on 10 difficulty for the Red Wolf. And then we are on to the Moon Queen. And phase one, as always, we're going to sprint around, find the little choir children with the lights above their heads there, and just take the lights right from their eyes. They're easy peasy. One more should do the trick. We're going to hunt them down. We're going to circle it around. If it's not there, it's got to be in the back. Find it. And we will now see Rennala fall to the ground. Now, at this point, we want to really start getting those consecutive hits in and see if we can take her down in one hit. We see that damage really stacking up here as we are able to do it. She goes down here and we are ready for phase two. Now, when phase two starts, we know she's going to start it off with one of her apparently classic Kami Kami Ha attacks. When that attack comes in, the game plan here is to be able to use that as a chance to close the distance. So when you're heading into second phase, just think if you're using a short range weapon, you really got to stay on top of her, as you can see here. So we know the Kamehameha is coming, and look how close we are right when she does the attack. Now we can come in with the dagger, and we see we're able to actually get 4 hits off on her, which is going to do almost half of her health. And another couple will take her below half. Even though she has a summon out, our damage is so high that we know a couple more hits will do it. So we ignore her summon. Even if we knock it out, we know it's going to come back. She's just going to summon another one. So ignore her summon, dodge her magic, and find an open window. If you get a bit unlucky, you get RNG, don't panic. Just know that as long as you ignore the summons and you stay on her, that damage output is going to go down. So you see here, we actually got some pretty rough RNG getting hit twice by the summons, but we were able to keep a cool head, dodge the deadly magic attacks, which is really what you want to worry about when you're fighting this boss, and close that distance just like before. And even though we got hit by the wand, we stay right on her. So as she tries to summon, we're able to actually finish her off before she gets a chance to. Now, even with that, it was a lot of chasing in second phase, but we were never really in any real danger. We didn't have to dodge too many attacks comparatively for the Moon Queen. So the difficulty with the Scorpion Stingers is only going to clock in at a 4 on 10. Let's head up to the Atlas Plateau and see how the dramatic tree sentinel fight goes. All right, here's that drama queen. Now we're going to charge it, dismount, and hit it with a jump attack. And we're able to follow up with some of these quick attack change. We do get an attack to go, but you saw that green around us. That was the rot talisman proccing. So now we have a big damage buff. So even though the drama queen is striking us with lightning, we're able to absorb 1 hit, punish it down. It does get 1 more fireball, but at this point, I mean, the fight's really over. The drama queen has 1 HP and a prayer. All the fireballs in the world won't tape it at this point. We'll dodge the lightning attack, miss the punish, but you know what? Finish it off on the second one, we won't miss right there. So we did have to dodge a few more attacks than we normally do on the Dramatic Tree Sentinel, as opposed to normally some of those builds like the big Colossal Weapons or, you know, the Curved Swords were able to take it down. So being that we did have to dodge a few attacks here, and being that, you know, the attacks that we did dodge, they do a lot of damage, the Dramatic Tree Sentinel. Overall, average difficulty rating for fighting it. Had it easier, definitely had a lot harder on the Drama Queen here. So difficulty with the Scorpion Stinger, it's going to clock in at a 5 on 10. Was a bit worried about the Ghost of Godfrey with this weapon, just for the simple fact that he's a ghost, so he doesn't get status. So that means our rot's not going to work. So from here, we did try to stay at full, and we do get punished for it, but we ended up escaping in the end, and now we're able to start trying to find safe windows to proc those consecutive attacks. What we ended up deciding to do was staying on his right hip, his left hip, right as you're looking at him, and we were able to bait out that jump attack, and when he slams down that punish, we're able to get off an immediate punish of our own. We would go 1, 2, we watch the third and the fourth, and now we get an attack in, dodge to the roll, and we get another attack. And then the left to right swing followed by the third. Our stamina is up. We're able to get in 3 attacks right there, jump over, dodge to the instant punish, do a quick roll attack, and go into tree dodge, and we're able to keep the pressure up on him. The consecutive hits are adding up. We follow it up with another jump attack, and then we finish him off before he gets a chance to do the slam. So this boss, once we found the windows to avoid getting punished, we're able to keep that consecutive hit damage high. We're able to keep our attack buffs up. So even though the rot didn't affect him, the consecutive talismans, Millicent's Prostate, the Rotten Winged Sigma, and the Thorny Cracked Tear definitely did the job. But they have more jobs to do. We need to head up to the top of the capital and the throne room to take on Margit. Right when the Morgott fight starts, we go ahead and pop our Psychic Flask, getting consecutive hits, getting stamina recovery, and we do attempt to trade with Morgott in the beginning, and we notice, okay, we're not going to be able to directly trade. That took a big chunk of health here. let's go ahead, let's retreat a little bit, but the damage was done. It's almost like stealth rocks in Pokemon. A little bit of chip damage is getting Morgott close enough to where we know we're going to be able to activate the golden swords here relatively soon because we got that chip on him. We'll trade with him one more time here, get out of his hammer, and even though we get clipped by it, we know the golden sword attack's coming. So instead of attacking him, we're going to heal up, but we just barely miss out on really closing the distance for some free hits here. No worries though, that chip damage is on, and we know he's just a couple hits away from going into his animation where he is stuck and helpless as he goes into second phase. So we're going to punish here with the follow-up 1, 2, 3, and a couple more hits should do it. So we do come in with a jump attack, and we do see that attack buff stack as we are able to punish him. In my opinion, we did get out of his AoE before it hit us, but I digest. We're going to close the distance here. Let's jump attack him. Should be an easy dodge as he attempts the grab. And now, as he attempts his dash attack, we're going to dodge through that. We're going to proc another rot on him. And even though we get punished there, the roll attack is going to finish it off. And Margit, he's very mobile and he's got some of those pre-programmed punish windows. So it definitely took some maneuvering. But we weren't really in a great danger of losing the fight. I would say for Margit, it's about an average fight of difficulty with the Scorpion Stinger. With average fights, we're looking at somewhere in a rating of 4 to 6. Smack dab in the middle for me, another 5 on 10 difficulty. But all of these aren't going to keep going for long because towards the end of the game, the late game bosses, it's going to crank up a little bit. Let's get into those now, starting with the Fire Giants. The first time you enter the Fire Giants ring of this hill is a great place to pop your buffs because he's not going to see you until you get out to that hill. So we drink our Psychic Flask, we hop on our horse towards him, and we notice he is going for a jump attack on us here. So we're able to start wailing in, and we see the consecutive hits proc. We roll to the shield, and we know he's only a couple more away as he does a jump attack into a roll, and we follow him down to punish up on that leg. We're able to, once again, hit that leg, pop in the bandage, and now we really just start wailing on you, and you see that damage adding up. Now, the Fire Giant, although not immune to rot, he is one of the most rot-resistant enemies in the entire game. It takes a lot of rot damage to really proc it. So we're going to have a tough time of doing that, but the good part about this build is it doesn't just rely on status in order to get a lot of damage off. So he's cooking us here in the fire. We are going to get out to there just because we might not have been able to get it off before. It's no reason to be sorry when you could be safe. We'll hit him a couple more times to trigger the second phase animation. Now, when second phase starts, he is triggered to immediately put those hands to the ground, and the hands are his weak points. So right when that hand goes down, we're going to roll into it. We're going to start attacking it, see if we can get off some consecutive damage. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're able to get a good chunk right when it starts, and now when he does his fire attack, we can just get our distance and rally around and get ready to really punish this Fire Giant. So he does start his volcano attack. We can't quite close it yet. And one of the disadvantages of the dagger is that shorter range. So we really need to wait till those fireballs are done popping off in the sky, get close to him, and we see, oh my goodness, he is doing another sort of delayed tracking attack with these fireballs. We'll go ahead and pop them off, but now we're finally ready to do some damage here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that, 8 hits. We did get clipped slightly, but you know what? That's letting us know, hey, in this Scorpion Stinger with this dual dagger build, we can get away with 2 chains. The third one might be a little bit risky. So we're all about getting those consecutive attacks up. We do get lucky with the body slam attack here, and take a look at the stamina. It is staying almost near full, and that's as a result of that green burst cracked tier. Again, the ability to be able to attack almost nonstop without losing too much stamina is a combination of using light weapons, the daggers, with these stamina recovery items such as that green burst tier there. And you see, even though he did an AoE attack that made us retreat, he is not long for this road. Only a couple more hits left. We're going to dodge through him here, attack the leg, and unfortunately we get a little bit stuck on his beard hair, so he does get another roll off. But at this point the fight is almost done. We're able to charge him here, hop off and dismount, a jump attack in the air, start spamming some light attacks, and just like that, the last of his kind is down. Genocide complete. The last of the Fire Giants is out of here, and the fire is no longer being guarded. Now is a good time to grab a maiden, commit the cardinal sin, and head to the crumbling farm of Azuka. Once in said farm, the first test is the Godskin Duo. Pop your Psychic Flask as you walk in, and then you want to target one of them at a time, because if you hit either one at least once, that one is going to become extremely aggressive to you until they die and respawn back in with a full health bar. So for that reason, I like to focus on one at a time, and I choose to focus on the round one because he's a bit more aggressive in general than the skinny one. So it's easier to keep the skinny one at bay while you're pounding this guy for consecutive hits. Now, right there, he does get an AoE, so we have to beat a hasty retreat on him, but he rounds the corner super aggressive, as you can see, letting us attack and dodge through his charge attack. He clips us here with the other fireball, so we need to do a better job keeping him separated, and we almost actually lose the fight. So the Godskin Duo, always a tough fight no matter what, no matter how many times you fought him, because that RNG can be a little bit crazy. But even with that, this wield and this weapon does so much damage that you can see before he can even get his second phase off, we are able to get the round one out of there, creating a true one-on-one. And that is the beauty of this build, because once that rock got procced, that huge 30% damage buff, in addition to the consecutive hits, just absolutely tore him up, took him down. So we did tap the skinny one here for a little bit of the damage, and from here on out, we're just kind of waiting on him to chew the bell. Bell goes up, and we are just going to start wailing on him. So he summons his boy back in, but you see, his health is gone. Just like that, before he can even blink, and the Godskins themselves have, golly, what is that? Maybe 11% health left. It's going to be an easy fight from here. So just goes to show you that's with the Godskin Duo, as long as you have a weapon that can really put out a lot of damage, which the Scorpion Stinger does with this build, and that allows you to make it a one-on-one fight more times than not, because you can finish them off when they're summoning their friends. So even though we did have a small scare at the start of the fight, we were able to survive it, and we were able to take them out one at a time and really fight them one-on-one for most of the fight, which is always how you want to fight the Godskin Duo. Because of the close scare, it wasn't an easy fight necessarily, but it definitely wasn't hard on the Godskin Duo, about an average fight here. So difficulty of the Godskin Duo with the Scorpion Stinger is going to come out to a 5 on 10. Now, surprisingly, Malkeith ended up being the hardest fight in this run. And the reason for that, as you can see in some of these attacks, is he has such long reaching attacks with his dagger. He's able to really reach into us, his range attacks during the rocks, that we actually died several times in this fight as we were trying to figure out what the wind is and what the range is to punish for. Now, with other weapons that are longer that do more damage, as you see the missed roll attack, you can really take Malkeith out because your range can match his. With the daggers and his hitbox, a lot of times whenever you do these quick hits, you actually don't get in enough close to him in order to connect. There, we get some good RNG. He digs into the ground, letting us to get some free hits, but we mess up and we pop our flask for consecutive hit and stamina a little bit late, and he does get a free hit on us. This means that we're going to have to fight Margit at his biggest strength this portion of the fight, knowing that, hey, we cannot make very many mistakes because we just don't have a big window to get a lot of damage. And because this hitbox is so strange, you'll notice that we're going to do a little bit more jump attack type of stuff. Now, Malkeith almost takes us out again, which would have been the 6th time that he beat us. This was attempt number 6, but we were able to get out of it, barely survive it. And he is going to come for the punish. And you take a look at his health, and we just really haven't made much work of it. So Malkeith with a dagger is tough, strictly because of the range, and specifically the kind of dagger that we're using as we almost die again is all about rot instead of bleed. So because we aren't able to attack him very much because of how mobile he is and because of the reach of our weapon, we're not able to proc our rot. We're not able to get our consecutive hits up, because when we do hit him, almost exclusively it's one hit and getting the heck out of there. So as we track him down here, looking to end the fight, he does go into a special yet again. This is the 3rd time he gets it off this fight. Clips us at the end. We have to heal up yet again. And now we know, hey, we got to be aggressive here and win this fight. We clip him with 1 attack, click him with 2, and he is 1 hit away. He does get off the death, but you know what? We're going to actually be able to pop 1 more heal, charge through his double swing attack, and finally finish him off with a quick light attack. Easily the hardest fight in the run due to the limitations of the range of this weapon and the movement of Malkeith, making getting consecutive hits off difficult, making getting rot procced extremely difficult. So because of that, Malkeith difficulty rating with the Scorpion Stinger ended up being a 9 on 10. Let's head to the Ashen Capital and see an old friend, Gideon, the All-Knowing. I was a little bit worried about Gideon, but we were able to talk him when he's speaking Japanese. And because we're able to get a couple free hits, you can just see his health bar almost drains down immediately, only for him to roll into a corner and finish him off. Now, that being said, with Gideon, as long as you stay on top of him, he's not going to be too difficult. However, he was in a corner with his explosives activated, so it definitely was a little bit of a risk to charge him. Glad we did it. It definitely could have gone differently. So it's not a true 1 on 10 with him in the corner with that explosive activated, because it could have gone badly, but thankfully it didn't. So the rating of difficulty with Gideon and the Scorpion Stinger is going to come out on a 2 on 10. Now, the moveset of Godfrey, the first Elden Lord's first phase especially, made this weapon a little bit hard in order to get damage in, and because we just really couldn't have windows to spam consecutive attacks and get off a lot of damage. What we ended up doing is making adjustments to that, similar to how we did when we fought the Ghost Godfrey, and make just small punishes and not focus on those chain attacks, not focus on trying to get Millicent's Prosthesis, the Rotten Wings Insignia, and the Thorny Crack tier active. What we focused on instead was, hey, just punish him when you can, get quick hits because you know the axe attacks are coming for the punish. And in second phase, when he's got a little bit bigger windows of punishment, focus on that. So this fight was all about, slow and steady wins the race. And even with that, due to the limited range of the Scorpion Stinger, you can just see, hey, sometimes even those roll attacks just don't connect. Right there, another miss, and we actually get caught by the stomp there. Say, Godfrey already a little bit harder than it normally is, just due to this weapon's incredibly limited reach. Definitely not optimal for fighting him, but all hope's not lost. He is rotted, which means our damage is going to start going up. Granted, we survive. So we back up, pop a heal, let's go through his attack, and now it's really time to lock in here, because with the damage buff activated, 1, 2, 3, more consecutive hits, to roll through his punish, and from here, when he starts going to his stomp attack, we're able to get off another attack, and now we can get off 2. He gets rotted again right before second phase, and we want to stay on him damage-wise, because we know once he gets to second phase, he is going to be a lot harder to stop, because that buff will go away. Unfortunately, we get slammed right from the start, and we get punished severely for that. Because he ended with the phase of the ground already shaking, we weren't able to take advantage of our buff. So from this point, we just wanted to reset the fight, get back up to fuel, pop our Psychic Flash for the stamina recovery and even more additional consecutive hits, and now wait for those windows where we could really lay off on him. Now, this Godfrey fight, it did take us, this was our third attempt with it. It was mostly a matter of learning when those windows are. A little bit of a harder Godfrey fight than normal already, and you can see just the amount of time that it takes to get his health down, dodge some of his grab attacks, or if you're feeling frisky, let him pick you up and rock my baby to sleep. So we did survive it though, thanks to our Dragon Crest Great Shield and our high HP, which we recommended in the build setup, which allows us to survive some of these late game attacks. We can roll through him here, roll through it, and all we're trying to do is trigger his scene where he starts getting on his knees, rising his hands up, and slamming the ground. We know when he does that, we're going to be able to get in some free hits. So it's all about dodging and getting in quick hits, keeping the rock activated, and knowing that when he gets to that point, we're going to be able to punish him severely. So he is about a little bit under 1/3, and sure enough, we see that stomp happening. We're able to hit him with 2 attack chains, dodge it, and then we're able to get in even more consecutive hits right here. Now we dodge one more grab, come in with the buff of the Kindred Rot Spirit and the Mushroom Crown as rock prots again to finish him off. Harder fight in Godfrey than normal. Most of the time he doesn't get us, but being that the daggers have such little range, it was challenging. Difficulty with the Scorpion Stinger ends up being a 6 on 10. As always, when the Radagon fight starts, you want to pop your Psychic Flask before you enter the arena, because he'll be standing perfectly still, allowing you to get in some quick hits to punish him, and you see we are doing so right there. Now, both Radagon and the Elden Beast are immune to rot, so we're relying on getting these consecutive hits here in order to punish him as we jump the stomp attack, hit him with the jump attack, roll forward into him, and we're able to, again, get a buff from consecutive hits. And you see he's at half health now, and we know he's close to his triple slam attack. And interestingly enough, which I didn't realize in the actual fight itself, Radagon is affected by rot, just the Elden Beast isn't. So only in the editing did I even notice, hey, we actually did get that buff off, and it ends up being huge, as you can see, because we can finish him off with that damage buff before he even gets a chance to recover from his triple slam attack. Now, I am confident that the Elden Beast cannot rot, so we're really going to have to focus on the consecutive attacks here. But Radagon wasn't too bad at all, and right when the fight starts, we know the Elden Beast is going to be loading up for fire. So we close the distance here, we stay right on his tail, get in a position to recover our stamina slightly, and from here on out, we're just absolutely wailing on him, and we're able to do a good amount of health. You see about 25% gone, and he goes into just a standard melee attack, allowing us to start punishing with consecutive attacks. We're able to get off 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now he is close to about 60% health. So right at the start of the fight, we're able to get the Elden Beast into a range where we know he's going to want to activate his ring around the rose, the attack. Now, he does do a long range attack for us first before going up into the sky. No worries there, Mr. Elden Beast. We're going to turn straight backwards, run straight ahead through the ring, and we know that the Elden Beast will be appearing right by us. And sure enough, right on cue, there he goes. And he does get us with a sword slam, but we're able to dodge it, get out of there before closing the distance quickly. And again, focusing on these consecutive hits, we see 5, 6. We need to dodge through the grab, and we can get another punish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you just see chunks of his health bar going. So even though he's activating his Elden Star attack, we're able to really just keep wailing on him, not being worried about it. And now that he is going to run away, it's a good time to thank the devs for patching the game and letting us use the horse, because whenever those Elden Stars are there and we didn't have torrents to rely on, it was a doozy and a half. But with torrent, we can easily dodge the stars, easily get out to the ring, meet the Elden Beast when he pops up. And even though he's going to go for one of his explosions attacks, we can clear it, get out to the AoE. And now we know, hey, it's time to start wailing on him. Let Millicent's Prosthesis build up damage. Let the Rotten Winged Insignia build up damage. And even if he starts slamming us with the Holy, you see here, he almost gets us, but we're able to dodge to the last one, heal up just in case he hits us with an explosion or an Elden Star. Either way, he's only a couple hits away. Does he get away? He does. He dodges us, and we got to chase him down one more time for this very last hit. He's going to shoot some cosmic stars towards us. He's going to pop his holy attacks. We're going to have to again clutch up, getting hits right here, but we know he's one shot. A jumping attack with the dual daggers reminds us about why it's better to be greedy than to be good at the game. Radagon, far more easy than the Elden Beast with only a 4 on 10 difficulty with the Scorpion Stinger. But that Elden Beast, with him running away from it, the short range of the Scorpion Stinger is making it a bit harder, giving the Elden Beast an overall difficulty rating of a 6 on 10 with the Scorpion Stinger. Now that we've gone over the 14 mandatory bosses, let's get into the tier list and see where the Scorpion Stinger ends up compared to the other weapons that we have done thus far. The average difficulty on a scale of 1 to 10 for the 14 mandatory bosses required to become the Elden Lord using the Scorpion Stinger ends up being a 4.71 out of 10, making the Scorpion Stinger an overall alright choice to use as you become the Elden Lord. Its biggest advantage as a weapon is being able to apply that Scarlet Rot status effect, as well as if you use one in each hand, you get access to the dual daggers, light chain attacks, which lets you attack very quickly, helping you get bonus damage from consecutive attack talismans and the Thorny Cracked tier. Now, that being said, other daggers, if you put one in each hand, also have that same effect, and they also outclass the Scorpion Stinger because although Rot is a decent status effect, it's not as good as Blood, it's not as good as Frost. So because other weapons of the similar type do outclass it, and because it's still an overall alright weapon because of what it does with the fast chain attacks with the daggers, the Scorpion Stinger is going to be our first weapon that ends up firmly in the C tier. My name is Chef Swole, and we are live streaming these attempts Monday through Saturday of beating Elden Ring with all 411 unique weapons in the game. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree of our assessment of the Scorpion Stinger? What tier do you think that the Scorpion Stinger belongs in? And if you would run the build differently, let me know how you would run it in the comments below. Next, what weapon should we do? we base the order of how we are going to perform the 411 weapons based off of what you comment in the YouTube below. Let us know the weapon and I'll reply to you in the comments. I'll let you know what day we will do the run live and what day the video will be up in those comments. We are building this weapon encyclopedia for new players, returning players who want to try the game with a bit of a different twist and know how each weapon will play, and a build for each weapon as they become the Elden Ring. Drop a follow for everything in the lands between. On until next time, be the tarnished. Stay maidenless.